Hey, Susie here. Once again for another book review. I'm on a roll. Anyhow, today I'm reviewing Magic of the Brush by Kai Yu Su and Catherine Wu. And I found this book at the same time that I found To Hell with Culture that I reviewed a few days ago. And I was intrigued as to who these authors are, so I just looked them up. And as it turns out, this book is actually a manual that was created for a course that was given at San Francisco State University by the authors since 1979. So that's pretty spectacular. I'm glad I found it. It's like I attended the course. So the reason I was drawn to this book is because I remember my professor when I did my art degree. I remember him talking about painting with ink and with watercolors and all the different little treasures that he shared with us about painting with this medium. And so I was intrigued to see if there will be any talk about it in this book. So my takeaways from these book, it's a really nice book. It's nicely divided and there's lots of artwork shared in here. So that's nice. There's also examples that people can copy, and which is basically one of the premises of painting with this medium, is that you're supposed to copy. Anyhow, my takeaways from this book, and that's how I'll be reviewing it. I'm not going to go chapter by chapter. I'm just going to list them, and there's about 13 of them, so bear with me. So the first takeaway is that the brush stroke is like a dancer's movement, which is something that I've actually come to realize, not even using this medium, is that when I'm painting, it feels like my brush strokes are dancing on the canvas. The second takeaway is that the hand must be disciplined, and which means that to capture a certain form, of course, you're not going to be like all over the place. So the hand needs to learn a certain skill while using this medium and any other medium, I think. The third one is that when we paint in this way, we are circulating energy. In Chinese, that's known as qi, or life force. So this is kind of like a validation of where I'm at with my work. I feel like there is definitely an energy movement with painting, no question about it. The fourth takeaway is that strong paintings are those that have strong life force, so that they capture a strong inner spirit, or what I like to call as essence. And then number 5, the dry brush strokes usually leave white streaks, which indicate movements. So if you're painting and you want it to indicate some movements, it's helpful to have a dry brush stroke to achieve that effect. And the 6th takeaway is that wet brush strokes will leave a feeling of aliveness, or a feeling like something is coming to life. 7th takeaway is that different angles of the brush would produce different effects, and that's something that every painter knows. However, they also mentioned that in traditional calligraphy, the brush was usually just held upright and you had to keep it in that position so that you can achieve the calligraphy. The other thing too is that once you do calligraphy, it should all be in the same, like there should be the same hue used. You can't change the gradation of that mark that you have. It should all be uniform, same color. And the 8th takeaway is they talk about the Tao, which can be defined as the organizing principle of life or the universe, which then means that life force or the Qi is the breath of the Tao. So as a painter, we are actually using the breath of the Tao. Makes me want to be a painter forever and ever and come back as a painter and just never stop painting. I mean, how amazing is that? It also feels so intimate that we're working with the breath of the Tao. Then number 9, the most important aspect of watercolor or painting with ink is capturing the essence of the thing. And that, I was wondering if they were going to mention that, and they did. So that's good, because that was one of the teachings that were given to me by my professor. Then the essence of a thing is not necessarily anatomically correct. So when we're painting something, we don't really have to get the exact same measurements, et cetera, to capture the essence. And this is something that I've actually carried in my work as I paint. I don't get too hung up on perfection or like bringing the thing exactly as it is, but more how I'm feeling it to be. And then number 10, 11. It is okay to copy the master's work because that is how painters learn. So that's how we refine our skill, is by copying the master's work. And that's why they have some examples in here that people can actually go back and follow along and paint, kind of like painting by numbers, but not really, just copying what they've done. So like little exercises. And number 12 is that painting is a process of self-cultivation. And if you ever get a hold of my dissertation, one of my conclusions was that painting is actually, or making art in general, is a way of individuating our self-realization. And then the 13th part is, or takeaway, was that using color must help make the painting come alive. So that basically is something that the artist will come to intuitively, I think, from their own experience. So one thing I was hoping to find in this book that I didn't find, and I will share right now, is that in order to capture the essence of a thing, as my professor told me or taught me back in the day, 1997, is that we need to meditate on it. So meditating on the thing is what helps capture the essence of a thing. So that's my little sharing for you, little nugget before I leave you here until the next book review. Okay, keep making art. See you later.